young, they're pretty. They're the new generation of Wonder Kid melody makers, known as the Brit Pack. Since bursting into the public consciousness with her 2006 single, Smile, Lily Allen has become a walking headline. Even her actor-presenter father, Keith, admits that his chart-topping daughter is rather a handful and doesn't know when to keep her mouth shut. No stranger to the highs and lows of life in the spotlight, NME rated her the 3rd coolest person of the year, while the BBC named her the 10th most annoying person on the planet.
I always wanted to be in the spotlight. I wanted to be centre of attention. I wanted to be the best at what I was going to be. I'm not very good at not being good at something immediately, which is why I wasn't very good at school, because I wasn't getting good grades. I was just like, rubbish at it, I'm giving up.
One thing she did turn out to be good at was becoming an overnight celebrity.
I've always been famous in my head. No, I don't know. I went to a gig the other night. I went to see the Yeah Yeah Yeahs play, and I got my autograph asked a few times in front of my ex-boyfriend, which was pretty funny. Because it happened a couple of times before that, and he didn't believe me, and we were standing next to each other, and they came up and asked.
Like the Arctic Monkeys before her, her musical profile was built via internet site Myspace, and her online friends lapped up her catchy tunes about a sassy girl making a go of life in London. Her single Smile hit #1 on the UK singles charts, and her debut album All Right Still, produced by fellow Britpacker Mark Ronson, was nominated for Best British Album at that year's Brit Awards and was nominated for a Grammy. She's branched out into film and TV, including an appearance on hugely popular The Friday Night Project, the part sketch, part stand-up, part chat show that has gained a huge following in Britain. With a no-fear approach to life and the media, controversy is never far away for this urban songstress, who has publicly lambasted just about everyone from Make Poverty History founder Sir Bob Geldof to hotel heiress cum singer Paris Hilton. Her appearance at the 2008 Glamour Awards was notable for her decapitated Bambi dress and for her drunken turn at the lectern. With a self-confessed limited range as a songwriter, Lily has admitted to getting away with something when it comes to her music. But there's no question that she's played a major role in kicking British music back onto the world stage. When it comes to nouveau glitz and glamour, look no further than Mika, the singer-songwriter whose album Life in Cartoon Motion sold over 5 million copies worldwide and re-injected a little bit of old-school razzmatazz into the pop music scene. But behind the glittering facade stands Michael Pennybrook Pennyman, a young man who was forced to leave war-torn Lebanon as a toddler. Rumoured to have a vocal range of 5 octaves, Mika's talent was developed at the Royal College of Music in London before leaving to pursue his recording career. That career was blasted into commercial bliss with his single Grace Kelly going straight to #1 in the UK. Despite all the fuss, Mika is still uncomfortable with fame.
I never really wanted to be a pop star, I still don't. That's why I fear tabloid culture so much. I feel much more comfortable as some sort of psychotic ringleader.
His fun-loving, quirky music style is a clear reflection of his personality. In 2007, Mika's T-Mobile street gigs took lucky passers-by back to their childhood. However, not everyone was happy to take a trip down memory lane.
The neighbours have already been complaining during our sound check. I think all the fancy shops in the offices are getting upset because we're making too much noise. This is, after all, the land of Gucci and Stella McCartney, and we are running around in monkey costumes, making lots of noise with, throwing lollipops around. I was saying earlier, it's like the 10-year-old birthday party that I've never had.
While he's certainly a crowd pleaser, some quarters have criticised the young star for creating a sound just a little too much like Freddie Mercury of Queen fame. Mika may argue that's the whole point of his act. His breakthrough single, Grace Kelly, is a mocking satire of musicians who reinvent themselves in the name of fame. And he makes no bones about his love for the greats of yesteryear.
I kind of look to the singer-songwriter solo artists from the 60s and 70s right through to, you know, the early 80s. People who made these unique vision, artist-driven records that still sounded big and still sounded like they could have been made by any band. You can name check Prince, Bowie, early Elton John, some of the Michael Jackson and Quincy Jones record, all that stuff, you know, that kind of big sounding pop music.
Exploring life as an outsider underpins the energy of his music. His song Billy Brown tells the story of a married man who has a homosexual affair. But when it comes to controversial topics in his own life, Mika tries to keep the focus firmly on his music. And that's all right with his growing fan base, with whom his music has clearly struck a chord.
He is the best thing that's come along in pop for years, and I absolutely love him.
When you say it's the best thing that's come along in pop...
I haven't bought an album from an artist for about 10 years, and this has made me excited about pop again.
She couldn't quite picture herself as a rock star with a name like Kate, so she changed it to KT, and she hasn't looked back. As Katie Tunstall, she was destined to become one of the biggest names in British music. Her own brand of girl power folk pop, making serious inroads into the lucrative US market. But unlike some of her fellow Britpackers, her success didn't come overnight. After honing her craft in independent bands during her 20s, it was her performance of Black Horse and the Cherry Tree on a late-night music TV show that finally led to her break. Her debut album, Eye to the Telescope, was re-released soon after, and it shot straight up the UK charts. US success followed after an American Idol contestant performed her own version of Black Horse and the Cherry Tree. It was an ironic moment for Katie, as she'd never made a secret of her contempt of the Idol Star Factory. Yet here was that show building her name in the mighty US market. After years on Struggle Street, KT was suddenly a major name with a huge following.
A year ago, I think we were just about to start going on our little tour. Our first tour was November, and then January was our second tour, and we'd had a great first tour of doing little venues that were kind of 100, 150. And I think we were just getting excited to start kind of moving up to 200 people per venue. And it's great memories.
On the back of her 2006 Brit Award for Best British Female Solo Artist, high commercial and critical expectations were placed on her new album release, Drastic Fantastic. But KT was philosophical.
When it comes to selling lots of records, I've got this sensation that I've kind of done that. So it's not, I mean, you know, ask me in a month when it's not sold any, but, you know, I right now I can't imagine feeling particularly depressed if it doesn't sell a lot. What's important for me is that I've progressed with my music and done something different and gone somewhere I wanted to go with it.
True to form, Drastic Fantastic was a hit. Sales figures certainly not hurt by Katie's musical crossover into films and television. TV shows like Ugly Betty, Grey's Anatomy and Will and Grace all featured excerpts from her songs, while her breakthrough hit Suddenly I See was used in the opening scene of the Meryl Streep movie The Devil Wears Prada. KT's long journey to the top has helped her take fame in her stride. And unlike many of her fellow Britpackers, she has largely avoided controversy. And rumours about her personal life were put to bed with her recent marriage to her drummer boyfriend, Luke Bullen. This young artist has described her musical style as heartbroken soul, citing inspiration from figures like Ella Fitzgerald and Etta James. Heartbroken her music may be, but her career is going from strength to strength. Adele is one of the rising stars of the British music scene, winning the Brit Awards Critics' Choice in 2007.
For me, it's nice to see the female category strongest that it's ever been for a very, very long time. Yeah. You know, you've got Kate Nash, you've got Lily Allen, you've got Amy Winehouse, you've got Adele coming through as well. So I just think it's a really good sign in terms of the girls are fighting through and showing that they can, you know, give as good as the boys sort of thing. So that's a really nice thing to see, and I'm glad Adele's performing tonight, because for me that album 19, it's going to be one of the albums of the year. I think it's great.
Her rise to fame has been gathering breathtaking momentum, but Adele is confident that she has everything under control.
Obviously, I love singing anyway, but having people actually like it and getting praise for it, it's amazing. And getting like an award for it it's ridiculous, wicked. Like, not ridiculous in bad, like, you know. Yeah, no, it's really, really good, and but it feels like a good build-up. Doesn't feel too much or nothing. So yeah, it's really good.
Her songs reflect the same honesty. Chasing Pavements, her breakthrough single, drew on her experience of running down empty streets after the boyfriend who just left her.
Yeah, I can't write about other people's situations, and I can't make things up. I can't make like a pillow glamorous. I can't do that. I have to write about something that's happened to me, otherwise I won't believe the lyrics, and therefore I won't sound very passionate when I'm singing them. So, yeah, no, it's very, very, very autobiographical. Is that the right word? Yeah.
But not everyone is in awe of Adele's meteoric rise and the heartfelt music she offers.
I feel like XL, her label, noticed a while ago that singer-songwriters are going to make loads of money. They went out, they signed 3 singer-songwriters at once in a desperate attempt to kind of make loads of cash, and Adele's proven to be the one who's kind of exploded and made loads of money for them.
While critics have been struck by the similarities between Adele's vocal style and that of fellow soul queen Amy Winehouse, commentators have also voiced concerns that Adele's self-confessed penchant for partying may lead her down the same personal path.
Otherwise I won't believe the lyrics.
He may look like a prim and proper Englishman, but behind the facade lies a musical mind that's redefined the sound of British pop music. He's Mark Ronson, super producer. Starting out as a DJ, his transatlantic style of New York hip-hop infused with UK rock gave him an edge over his fellow turntablists. After making the move into producing, it was 2007's Version, featuring reworkings of tracks by Brit stars Kaiser Chiefs and Amy Winehouse, that proved to be his real breakthrough.
It does feel slightly surreal, like it's like somebody's telling me how an Amy Winehouse record is doing. Like I've had that kind of, so it's weird to have it happening to your own record, so I'm still, it's like almost through a glazed window. Like I feel like it's amazing it's happening, but it hasn't quite connected that it's my own record, you know?
His work as producer went from strength to strength. Along with his 2008 Brit Award for Best Male Solo Artist, his work on Back to Black by Amy Winehouse won him the Grammy for Producer of the Year, as well as Best Pop Vocal Album and Record of the Year. His work with Amy and other young female artists has helped him grow as a musician in his own right.
Lily and Amy and Candy Payne, Estelle, Adele, the girls that I've been lucky enough to work with that give me inspiration musically, also like so stylish and glamorous in their own way. And then my mum and all my sisters and all that stuff, so yeah.
His connections within the British music industry also contributed greatly to the success of his album.
I was working on Robbie's record and I decided to tell him about the Covers album, and a month later we did it. Amy sort of the same thing, so it was really kind of organic. And when I set out doing this record, I didn't have a deal. I was just sort of playing all the tracks and paying horn players out of my own pocket to just come down to sessions. And I just thought, this is going to be just a labour of love and a really cheap record to make.
After being dumped by his 19-year-old model girlfriend Daisy Lowe for being too old, the 33-year-old producer found solace in being called in to rework some of the classic hits of his childhood heroes Duran Duran. But it wasn't just Duran Duran's music that Mark's boyhood senses had attuned to.
My mum once let me go to the Cool Place with her to get her hair, where she got her haircut, and I took a picture of John Taylor. I was 11 years old, and this tour, it's like they were going to give me feathered hair and blonde hair. It's probably a bit unreasonable. And then I got my haircut, which was somewhat closer to the haircut that I guess that they would have given a 10-year-old. And I remember walking out sort of in tears going, Mum, it's way more Nick Rhodes than John Taylor.
The pain of bad childhood haircuts a long way behind him, Mark Ronson is one musical producer who isn't likely to be shedding more tears anytime soon. With a soulful voice belying the tenderness of her years, and a voluptuous girl-next-door persona, Joss Stone found fame, and she found it fast. But underneath that sweet surface dwells a very clever operator who took legal action against her record label, scored lucrative endorsement contracts with high street favourites such as Gap, Chanel and Cadbury's, and made it onto the Sunday Times HitList, all by the tender age of 21. The soul music bug bit Joss as a 10-year-old when she received Aretha Franklin's greatest hits album as a Christmas gift. Just a few short years later, she won BBC TV's Star for a Night, singing the hits of Aretha and Whitney Houston. Her ensuing debut album, The Soul Sessions, was quickly released, stunning industry and public alike, with her ability to recreate the vocal power of soul singing's greats. Not a bad effort for a 15-year-old. A follow-up album, Mind, Body and Soul, was an even bigger success, debuting at #1 in the UK. That year, she was the youngest ever solo Brit Award winner and was nominated for a Grammy in the US. She was hot property. So hot that Prince William summoned her to perform at the concert to mark the 10th anniversary of Diana's death.
When the Prince of England asked you to be in a gig to honour his mother, who was Princess Diana, who was a beautiful woman and loved all the way around the world, seen as an angel in front of, millions and millions of people, you don't think about it. It's something that you just say, yeah.
With a more mature, harder-edged feel, her 2007 release, Introducing Joss Stone, didn't match the acclaim of her previous 2 albums. Her personal life also took a hit when music producer Dallas Austin accused her of using her feminine charms with producers to secure the right songs.
Get this, all right. So Raphael's my man, and so is James Morrison, and so is Robbie Williams, and so is Gavin DeGraw, and who else was it? All these people. Like, if I come into contact with a male, that's it. It's my man. He's my man. Every single one of them, every single last one of them. Do you really think I have time? I haven't had a boyfriend in the last 2 years.
Dallas Austin later publicly retracted his statement, and Joss has since gone on to prove just how little time she has for playing the field by signing up for a part in the British romantic comedy Snappers, for which she also wrote and produced the soundtrack. With their infectious indie punk revival energy, the Arctic Monkeys crashed through the gates of fame and fortune with the release of their first album, Whatever People Say I Am, That's What I'm Not. But their class-conscious lyrics and punk-inspired rejection of awards and TV appearances weren't the only revolutionary aspect of their game. They were also the first band to harness the power of the internet to develop a mass audience, all before a record label got anywhere near them. Ironically, the band themselves don't take credit for the internet hype that defined them. That credit goes to their fans, who shared the band's music via the newly released Myspace website. On the first day of their debut's release, it became the fastest-selling debut in British history, selling as many copies as the rest of the top 20 combined, giving birth to a new marketing tool for the music industry. With bassist Nick O'Malley the only change to their lineup, the band replicated the success of their first album with album number 2, the very fast and very loud Favourite Worst Nightmare. This release made it to #1 in the album charts, with all 12 tracks making it onto the top 200 singles charts.
It's a measure of just what a special band the Arctic Monkeys are, that they've been able to come back and make such an impact on album 2. And you've got to feel the way things are going, that, we might very well see the same thing happening on album 3.
The Brit Awards have been shown little respect by these cheeky overachievers. Their recorded acceptance for Breakthrough Act in 2006 featured a mate of theirs who wasn't even in the band. The 2006 NME Awards also failed to impress the young band, who staged a no-show, despite winning the award for the Best New Band.
The Brits, they're too cool for this, and the Brits. And also, I think they got school tomorrow, haven't they?
Quite possibly.
See, it was half-term last week. If we had this last week, they'd probably be here.
The 2007 Brit Awards fared little better. The band sent video acceptance speeches for Best British Band and Best British Album, dressed as the Village People and characters from The Wizard of Oz. At the 2008 Brit Awards, they managed to make an appearance, collecting the gong for Best British Group for their troubles. Despite their disinterest in television appearances, the band reached a massive TV audience when they appeared on America's Saturday Night Live. True to form, they left their mark on the show by abusing an audience member for yawning. This is one bunch of monkeys that clearly like to play by their own rules. This effervescent rock artist with a down-home charm and the shock of red hair made her mark in the music business early. At just 19, her hit single Foundations reached #2 on the UK charts, followed by the platinum-selling UK #1 album Made of Bricks. A Brit Award for Best Female Artist quickly followed. With a sexy, playful voice and an innocent, girly energy, the listening public fell in love with Kate Nash's simple songs about teenage romance and nights on the town.
My favourite kind of music and songs and whatever are the most passionate and the most, you can tell they're just raw and they're a bit sore and they're not kind of like trying to be anything, they're just that, they just are what they are.
Just 1 year before her breakthrough, Kate was a drama school dropout, stuck in her bedroom with a broken ankle. To cheer her up, her parents bought her a guitar and she wrote some songs to fill in the time. Before long, she was trying out her music in public.
So I'd always wanted to play a gig and I'd been writing songs that I kind of felt happy with, that I could listen back to and not cringe and stuff. And I was like, well, I'm just going to book a gig because I've always wanted to. And now the kind of desperation of how I was feeling gave me the guts to do it because I was like, I don't really care that I feel nervous anymore.
Several comparisons have been made between Kate and her Britpop contemporary Lily Allen. But rivalry wasn't a problem for Lily, who happily gave the younger songstress a leg up via her Myspace website.
I just wrote to her and I was like, I really like your music. Also think it's great, you know, you're speaking out about something political because loads of people don't have opinions and it's good to have them. And then like about, I think it was like a month later or something, she put me in our top friends and I was just really like, wow, like, and that was kind of it really. Like it was just, she just chose to kind of support me, which was nice.
Although the independent newspaper called Made of Bricks Worst Album of the Year, she was chuffed to be nominated for the 2007 Q Magazine Awards.
It's really weird. Like I'm really excited. It's really exciting, and it's quite. I don't know. It's quite a strange thing. I didn't realise. I feel really new to everything as well still. So I'm kind of like, oh god. But now I've got my album out. I guess I'm like in the right place to be nominated. But it's quite. I mean, Q's a great magazine, so it's really nice to get recognition from something that you kind of would respect as well. You know. So it's really exciting.
Her duet with working-class musical icon Billy Bragg on the Shangri-La's Give Story a Great Big Kiss should go a long way to keeping her career on the right track.